Forestry Area Supervisor David Grubich.
Can you spell it first?
Grubich.
And I'm the Assistant Fire Chief for St. Lucie County, Jeff Lee.
Spell that.
Lee.
Jeff?
Jeff, yes.
Okay.
Can you just tell us just the nuts and bolts of what happened here?
I'll let Dave cover that.
What actually happened out here is there's 28 acres of debris, and it was a permitted site, and during that, a lightning strike hit this. Now, with the unprecedented drought that we've had, the fields are actually dry and receptive to fuels being the piles themselves. So once that lightning strike hit this and ignited it, it's just a continuing process. Now the whole 28 acres is fully engulfed. It's just that dry and that ready. And what happens is these things are 20 foot tall, and just think about filling the Met Stadium up with charcoal and then lighting it on fire. This is a big charcoal pit out here. It's not going to go out like this. And what happens, you have that crust layer on top, which is the ash. Everything underneath it is the conductive fire, where it's actually hot and glowing like a furnace, and then everything underneath that, the fuels that are underneath it, are now turning to charcoal from the radiant heat. So that radiant heat's pre-charcoalizing, getting everything ready to go, and then when that conductive heats it, it's just going like a furnace in there. So it's going to continue that process until it actually hits the water table or it hits bare mineral soil. So that's the progress we have here. We do have contractors out here that are going to be stirring the debris up, so if we can get some more air to it, we can hopefully burn it off quicker. But it is 28 acres. It is massive. So that's not going to happen overnight. So we're going to have the smoke burden on us for a while. And then to make the public aware of that, they need to be cognizant of what's going on out here. This smoke isn't going away. It's going to be present. Now in those evening hours, the night hours, and the early morning when things cool down, that smoke's going to lay down naturally, and it can backfill into the PGA Verano, the Verano, Tradition, Vitalia area. That whole area can be subject to the smoke that's going to come down. Then as our sea breeze comes in today, it's going to of course blow it away from them, but that's going to be a repeated process until these things are fully consumed and these fuels are gone. It's an intense amount of heat in there. So when you see the pictures and the video of what's going on, there's a million little sites in there that are just glowing furnaces, consuming these fuels. And then as the water gets on us, the rain and everything else, it turns the ash on top basically to a protective cap, and it insulates it, so everything underneath it's still going to keep burning as it's doing, and it's going to do what it's doing until it's done.
I think that was my question. It's just like, okay, some people might say, why not just come and just dump this thing with a ton of water and just be done with it?
You could get a foot of rain on this at the moment, and with that protective ash layer on it, all it's going to do is that protective blanket, it's going to put that protective blanket on it. It's not going anywhere. And then what's going to happen with that? It will delay it. The process is still going to occur, and now it makes it an entrapment area. So if you've got equipment in there, you could have a pit 6 foot deep that's 1,800 degrees or something burning underneath you. You won't know about it, and then that equipment could fall into it and put that operator's life in jeopardy. One of us walking in that area could fall through it just as easily and put our life in jeopardy with what's going on out here. Like I said, it's not stopping till it hits the water table or mineral soil.
And I think that's hard for folks around here to wrap their minds around. Normally we think of a brush fire or wildfire in this area, and you think you're dealing with smoke for a couple days.
Yes, and this process is going to probably, till this is consumed, I would say it's best estimate 2 weeks to a month or more. It's not going to be done till it's done. There's nothing we can do in between to stop this.
Can you tell us about the fire rescues, kind of involvement with this, just what you're guys
So
doing?
the big concern of the St. Louis County Fire District is health and safety of residents. So the big issue, the big concern for us is making sure people understand they need to stay indoors. When the smoke is affecting their areas, if you notice today it's very windy, it's pushing towards the west. There will be times in the morning, late evening, where it will be push east sometimes, and when it pushed east and when people's affected at their residences, they need to stay indoors as much as possible, keep the air conditioner on, and when they can, if they have a recirc mode in their AC, is to use that. And when you're doing exercise, try to find an indoor exercise. That's the key.
How frequent is something like this in the community, would you say?
It's not very frequent. I've been on the fire service for 25 years, and this is probably the first time we've had a mulch fire at this level, 28 acres, that's nothing but a large charcoal grill at the end of the day.
All because of lightning?
Yes,
All because of lightning strike.
And you said the 25th was when it
I
happened?
think it's 25th when the lightning struck and it started this fire. But it's also in conjunction with the lightning. Normally these piles would be wet we should be wet in August. Since we haven't had rain, everything is dry, so everything out there is ready to go. So when that lightning did strike it and a little bit of wind went in there, it just went to town. So that's what's going on. So it's a combination of things. It wasn't just a simple lightning strike. It was a lightning strike, and the fields were ready to go up. So everything out here is ready to burn. It's dry and ready to go.
And I want to further caution our residents moving forward. This is a very dry, wet season we've had. So moving into our dry season, we're already dry, and it's going to be increase our chances of brush fires and stuff. So we really need our residents of the county to be cautious of that.
And gentlemen, I know you guys said that you haven't seen this kind of thing around here before. Have you guys ever heard of such a thing anywhere?
Yeah, I think Dave has experienced stuff across the state.
Yes, and there's other places where you'll have a coal fire. There's coal fires going on up north that have been burning for decades. So there's things like this. So this has occurred in other areas, but no, it is very rare. So it's not something, it's just one of those things that it's in our backyard right now, so it's ours, but it's not something that you're going to see routinely everywhere.
So in terms of the plan over the next couple of weeks, can you describe the efforts you guys will be doing to sort of just make sure it doesn't jump the lines or whatever, or I don't know?
I've just met with the contractors out there, and what's going to happen is they're going to make themselves a safe area to work in daily. And with some of our expertise added to what they know, we're giving them some advice about being able to basically stir the coals. So just like you do in your home grill, we're doing the same thing but with heavy equipment. So they're going to find a safe area to work in and work a little bit at a time, but it's going to be a long process. It's not going to happen overnight. And all they're doing by that is actually exposing those coals that are ready to go to fire to get more oxygen into it, because underneath those piles it's oxygen starved, so it's making charcoal, and that charcoal is what's going to be burning for days on end underneath there. So it's going to do what it does in the absence of oxygen. Now then, when you take the cap off it and let oxygen in there, you get open flame, which will consume the fuels faster and actually make the ash that comes behind. So as they're doing that, they're going to be stirring basically the charcoal pit up for the next month and slowly chipping away at this till they can make a difference. But it's not going to happen overnight.
And I'd like to elaborate on that if I can. So typically we don't like to see fire, right? We try to put fire out, but this is one of those cases that we want to see fire. We want to see that active burning. That active burning process will limit the amount of smoke we see here today. But the problem is the way the charcoals build up as a casing on the fire. It's going to be hard to do that, and that's what these guys in heavy equipment are going to try to do, is open it up and allow that to breathe and actually start a flaming process.
So just to confirm, this plot of land here is for what use exactly? Just what is this?
You know, with all the woods being cleared for development and everything else, well, when you clear woods and you clear the property in town to put a house there, that stuff goes somewhere. Some of that stuff in town, we regulate all prescribed fire in the state of Florida as a state agency, and that material, some places you can't burn it. So we tell you can't burn it, and then the contractor will have to haul it off. And when they haul it, this is one of the disposal sites where they haul that material off. And unfortunately, they've had an accident thanks to Mother Nature out here, and now we're all out here.
So this isn't like mulch that's sold to homes or just...
No, when we say mulch, it's not your typical Home Depot or Lowe's type of mulch that you bag up, or it's not that type of mulch at all.
What kind of calls is the department getting? I mean, are you guys being pretty inundated right now?
So for the last couple of weeks, we've been getting a regular amount of calls for nuisance smoke and respiratory type of calls, yes, in this area.
How many? Can you quantify how?
I think right around 60 to 70 calls on average since the initial phase, our fire.
You mean like a day?
Paint the picture out here. I mean, how many people would you guess live sort of in this at-risk area for the smoke? I mean, thousands of people?
Thousands.
Yeah, thousands in the eastern port. So again, right now we have easterly winds, and so there's not a lot of residents west of us. So in the current wind and the current smoke conditions aren't really affecting those people east of us. Where there's thousands of people, there's probably hundreds of people west of us.
But there's a school nearby, correct? Or do you know?
There are several schools, both private and public schools that are nearby. Yes, ma'am.
Are those kind of the areas that you would say are your highest concern as far as people who might be vulnerable or really feel the effects of this?
Well, absolutely. I mean, when it comes to health and safety, that's always our concern. We have very little concern of this spreading and creating a structural fire issue. It's for us more of a health concern for the respiratory type of issues.
Even if there was a massive deluge of rain, would that really create any?
So it would take a tropical style event, type event, to really come in. Maybe I'd say a couple of days worth of that kind of event to extinguish this.
Tropical storm type event.
And the equipment would still need necessary here to stir it, because it would just coat that top, and then the heat will eventually, that stays underneath, will actually make its way out again. So even if you get 12 inches of rain on this right now, it's not putting this out. It's going to put a protective wet blanket on it, and everything else is still going to go. That's where that equipment's coming in handy, stirring it to get it down there to where the water's needed. It's perfectly fine where it's at, where it's in the middle. It could have water on top and water on the bottom. It will heat that up and come back out. So that's why rain is not necessary necessarily your friend, because it's not going to put this out.
And how tall are these piles roughly? Miguel was saying like 40 to
They're
50
20
feet, or
plus feet
more
at
than 20?
least.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say 20 to 40 feet.
Yeah, because you can see them right there. They're mountains for Florida.
Are you guys seeing at least any change in the amount of smoke, or is it continuing to get a little bit worse? Like, have we reached the peak yet, or is it supposed to get worse?
It's going to be as bad as it is right now,
Yeah.
continuously for the next couple of weeks. It may start as the fuel burns more, it will die down at the end, but it depends on the time of day and how much wind we have, and really the atmospheric conditions.
Yeah, heat and dispersion have a lot of different impacts on it. So as that thing gets that more of that ash cap on it, of course it's going to limit some smoke. But no, your peak times during the day from that 11 o'clock till 5 o'clock, when it's going to be the hottest part of the day, you're going to have more smoke. And then at night, humidity is going to increase, which will add moisture to that ash, which is going to help that blanket get a little bit thicker and keep it in place. So it will knock it down some, but you're still going to have that odor is going to be present. And then you'll have that actually particulate matter that we worry about. This white smoke that you see around here is the particulate matter that we're concerned with. Now that odor that you smell isn't an impact on you, it's an odor. And then when you get to other ones, you're going to have that particulate matter in the air that, no, this is what, no, we worry about. And it's going to wax and wane with the humidity in the air is what's going to change it.
Is there any like responsibility for the landowner or anything about this, or?
Mother Nature put a lightning bolt in there, just
I'm
like
just
if you put a lightning bolt on your house.
I'm just asking.
Yeah,
you know.
so.
Well, between Forestry Department and St. Louis County Fire District, we don't have any kind of authority on that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
it wouldn't be either of our jurisdictions.
Now, seeing an event of this magnitude, is that going to change response training in any way or form?
Probably not. There's really not a whole lot of response issues for us. I mean, there's nothing for us to do. There's not enough water in this area to even to think about. We came out here this morning and ran through 100 different scenarios on how to try to put it out, and there's just not enough water in this area. There's a small reservoir just north of here, and we would drain that within an hour, I think, right,
Probably
Dave?
within an hour we'd drain
and
that
it wouldn't
pond.
even touch this.
Is this actually taking many of your resources at this time, or is it kind of just like
At this time, it's not. Last week in the initial phases, when that first lightning strike, it was a lot of resources, but at this time, it's very little.
So just to
kind of like you
confirm,
just sit and wait, right?
Yeah, we run, for us, for fire rescue, we are running the respiratory calls and stuff, a little increased volume than normal, but it's not taxing us at all.
so just to confirm, it is 100% contained.
Yes, it has mineral soil around it, and then it has features such as canals that have moisture in it. So those are the process that we're using to keep it contained. So
How long from that process of the fire to the containment? How long was that? How long between those two?
it was contained within hours. It was quick. So yeah, it had that containment around it. It wasn't going anywhere. But yeah, the process now of it finishing what it's doing is just going to be extended.
So, the general borders or boundaries of the fire is what, Glades Cutoff to the north and Range Line? Well, I mean, it's east of Glades Cutoff and Range Line?
Range lines west of us. Glades Cutoff runs north and east, or northeast of us. So
So it's
nor-
all
yeah.
east of that, where they intersect. Like
Yeah, and then
over
there's, like I said, there's canals around it. So we do have water features in place that would stop it from crawling through the ground. And that would be our concern. It's not going to be a flame on top of it running across the field that you can chase. It's going to be under the soil.
And this type of fire at this point in time doesn't have a ton of debris. The airborne debris that they were worried about starting another fire a mile away from here or something like that. So.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fine.
Can you just run
particularly.
through just kind of the symptoms people should be aware of if you know, just for their health? They might say, okay, I smell it, but I feel fine. At what point should someone maybe get medical attention?
So if somebody feels that you're going to have general issues with smoke inhalation. Whenever smoke like this in the air, you're going to have slight irritation of your throat and nasal areas. Those aren't, those are normal. Those are going to happen. But it's when you have really respiratory issues, you're having difficulty breathing. That's when you need to call 911.
And you've already had that? You've had some severe impacts?
Most of them are minor. We haven't had too many severe, no.
How many calls would you say you've actually had to give medical attention for related to this smoke?
I would say about 70 something this week.
Actual calls out to help people? Not like calls to complain, but like you guys have actually responded to medical.
I think we've had 70, right around 70 respiratory calls, yeah.
So that means like 70 people potentially taken to the hospital for respiratory
Potentially
issues?
taken to the hospital, yeah. I'm not sure if they were all transports or not, but yes, sir.
Okay.
That's not just calls complaining about the smoke or saying, hey,
No,
go.
that's respiratory calls.
Okay.
That's
What
all.
about just complaint calls? Like, are you guys still getting
I didn't get a number on that. We don't really record them because a lot of times the communication center will kind of
filter them out?
They're
filter
hidden.
them out. Thank you. Yeah, so that's not really we don't really track that per se. I mean, we can go back and really dig through and get it if we had to, but it's not something we.
That's the process of having you out here helping us educate the public so we can make them aware of what's going on and that this is going to be present, so we can cut down on some of those phone calls, because with both our primary response is public safety, and being able to have the phone lines free for that and getting us to the right spots instead of okay, I smell smoke. Okay, yeah, you're going to smell smoke out here for a month. We know that, so just letting the public aware of what's going on, and it will be an ongoing process. We're going to continue monitoring till it's over.
Hey, thank you so much. Appreciate it.